Back on Sports Bet Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy. Time for the deep dive. NFL Strength of Schedule is a wild card betting tool. Teddy turned me on to this years ago. It's been dynamite. How good? The theory is quite simple. Since 2002, teams with a higher strength of schedule using Sagan's ratings are a remarkable 40-16 straight up and 40-15-1 against the spread. 73% winners regardless of price and location, Teddy.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this system. It's just simple. You just look up some numbers, and the team that faced a tougher schedule wins in the wild card round of the playoffs. There have been no losing seasons using this since 2002. Couple of push seasons, but 40-15-1 against the spread using nothing but strength of schedule. The team that faced the tougher foes is more battle-tested and ready to face playoff caliber opposition. But there are tighteners that make that 40-15-1 even better, Pauly. More than one tightener, in fact.
Yeah, you take it a step further. Teams with a better SOS that are underdogs win 16-12 straight up, 21-6 ATS. Underdogs with a strength of schedule rating of 10 or better win 10-4 straight up and 11-3 ATS.
Yeah, and let me make this clear. We talk about a strength of schedule rating of 10 or better. That means, let's just say, and I'm just going off the top of my head, and I don't have the numbers right in front of me. We'll get to them in a minute. But let's just say that the Raiders had the 5th toughest schedule in the NFL and the Houston Texans had the 16th toughest. That would be a difference of 10 or greater. So, underdogs, 16-12 straight up. Underdogs with a strength of schedule rating of 10 or better, 10-4 straight up. These aren't tickets you take plus the points. These are tickets you bet on the money line. How about this? You just take the overall team with the strength of schedule differential of 10 or more. 23-4 straight up, 22-4-1 against the spread. Again, this dates back to 2002. Now, there's no perfect science here when it comes to grading plays. Think back to last year. The Steelers against the Bengals. They were -2, they were -2.5, they were -3, they were -1.5. They won the game 18-16. You know, how do you grade it? You can grade it any way you want to grade it. You can grade it any way that'll fit your trend. But over 14 years of results, even if you grade the Steelers as a win or a push in a game they should have been lost, it's still probably the single strongest public known NFL playoff trend that I'm familiar with. And obviously, if you can blindly bet it over all these years and cash at 73%, it's a trend that it paid off again last year.
Yes.
It's a trend you don't, let me put it this way. You don't have to bet with it. I'd be very reluctant. You need a darn good reason to bet against it.
I'm going to pull your move. I'll repeat something because it's so strong. Teams with a SOS differential of 10 or more, 23-4 straight up, 22-4-1 ATS, 85% winners. Okay, what do the numbers say this year?
Real simple. All right, let's take a look and show exactly what the numbers are saying. Oakland, they are number 4 in strength of schedule this year. Houston was number 18. Detroit was number 25. Seattle, number 30. Miami, number 27. Pittsburgh was number 11. The Giants were number 13. Green Bay was number 19. So the two strong ones, or strongest ones, would be Oakland and Pittsburgh. Detroit and the Giants also fit into the equation.
That's also those two games, those are differences of 10 too. That's at 85%.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The two strongest ones are Oakland and Pittsburgh. The two lesser ones are Detroit and the Giants. But it's saying, this trend is saying that 3 of the 4 underdogs are likely to cover on the opening weekend of the NFL playoffs. And again, likely, not likely. This is what the trend has done. You know, and it worked again last year, and it worked again the year before that. So it's not something that's dying, and I'm giving it out now because, oh, yeah, this trend was great. But now this is something that is continuing to work. And again, you don't have to bet with it. Don't bet against it. If you do, you better have a darn good reason why.
Yeah. Now, we were asked this last week on the comments on YouTube, and it begs the question here. So we have something that's 85%, and the numbers say Oakland and Pittsburgh. Is every bet the same? Do you double up here? Is it 2 units? What do you do?
That's a very good question. And in my opinion, I'm not doubling up in this situation. There's three reasons. One is that the Raiders team that played this strength schedule, now they have a unique situation where there is a quarterback who hasn't started a regular season game, who's going to be starting a playoff game. It's never happened in 50 years. That's unique. You don't want to, I'm not saying you avoid it. I'm saying don't load up on it. With Pittsburgh, now you're talking about a double-digit favorite. Double-digit favorites in the postseason, not long-term big money, especially in the wild card round. So there's a negative trend in that regard. So and the other factor is that if you haven't been riding this for the last 14 years and have a whole bankroll with a whole boatload worth of profit from it, now's not the time to come in after the trend is already 40 and 15 and say, oh, I'm going to start doubling and tripling up right now. It's just like coming in when the team's lost 10 in a row against the spread. You're like, okay, now's the time I'm jumping in on it. No, if you've been riding it the whole way, you can get to some pretty big wagers at that stage of the campaign, or at that stage of the streak if you're riding a streak. But if you're in a situation where you're not riding a streak and you're just coming into it, standard unit, there are situations where you're going to find great opportunities that are worthy of 2 or 3 unit wagers. For NFL playoffs, man, these lines tend to be pretty tight and not situations where I'm doubling, tripling, quadrupling my standard wager size.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.